Hey, I'm the Sneak Thief, and this is a Dark and Darker starter guide. The idea is to help newer players understand the basic gameplay loop. Keep in mind the game is in early access, so things will change a lot, but the basics here should remain the same. After you've created a character, you need to make sure you hit your class, check out your perk and your skill. You can start with one perk. As you level up, you add more perks. Your skills are important. You have a whole bank here. I'm not telling you what to do. You can figure that part out. So now you're sitting in the lobby and you're wondering, what do I do next? First thing is, you need to visit your squire. He's in the merchants. And he's going to have your base gear. You can set up any combination of whatever is available. This unlocks, according to quest progression, you get more gear here. Just keep in mind that this is your starter pack. This is free. You can get this every time. It includes items like the healing potions, the bandages, and a campfire. Okay, second thing is the dungeon. You need to select your server, pull up the dungeon map, and then you have three options of dungeons: Frost Mountain, the Ruins of Forgotten Castle, and the Goblin Caves. We also have the PvP arena. Each of these locations has a high roller version, and then each of these versions has 3 lobbies for the size of your party. For instance, Goblin Caves has solos, duos, and trios, much like the Frost Mountain and the Ruins of the Forgotten Castle. The dungeons are also divided up according to gear score. Gear score is calculated literally using the gear you have to create a score. The game will notify you if your gear score is too high for your dungeon. The third thing is the actual loop of the game. You start in your dungeon, you set your details, you spawn into the dungeon, you kill or be killed, you extract from the dungeon. There are multiple ways to leave the dungeon, the most common one being dying. There are ropes, stairs, and pedestals for single use. There's also lifts and drawbridges for multiple use. Some dungeons have layers, in which case you'll find red portals that allow you to descend down the next layer. There's a lot of details that change with this system, and they've constantly been working on it, so just keep in mind that blue means... And the final thing is making it back to the lobby. Hopefully you didn't die. If you did, just go back in. You'll have reset with your starter gear, and you can try one more time. Most people, if they didn't die, spend this time going over their gear, selling things on the market, maybe buying a better piece, trading with other players. This is the part of the game where you're doing things like checking stats, checking rolls, looking at the modifiers. You spend your time kind of building kits in order to do a little bit better the next time you're in the dungeon. You will die, and you will die, and you will die, and you will die, and you'll die, and you'll die. There's tons of videos about how to get better, which stats are better, which class is better. All that's subjective. The best way to figure this out is just to play it. Ultimately, the concept is go back in the dungeon. Spend your time dungeon crawling.